What's up, everybody? It's Too Generic, back at it again with your host, Cam,
Rich.
and today we'll be talking about the NBA Finals, the UFC card from last night, and maybe some WNBA stuff, because we always veer off into the WNBA no matter what.
Right.
Even if we're talking UFC, somehow we'll end up in the W.
Doesn't matter.
Right? It always comes back to the W. So maybe that's what this show might be about, but who knows? It is the NBA Finals, so we should stick to the script.
Okay. The script was written in Game 4.
It was.
Game 4, man. That was
Comeback voted.
That made me sick.
Yeah, it felt a lot like Game 1 in certain ways, to where, it felt like, oh my God, the Thunder are getting killed, but in reality, they were only down like 10 to 12. And same with Game 1. The Thunder were everywhere, all over the Pacers. They couldn't get anything, but at the same time, they went into halftime, only up 12, Thunder. So it felt like that type of game, just the inverse.
Right.
To where you're like, this team feels like it's getting blown out, but yet the game's pretty close when you look at the scoreboard. And I feel like when that happens, that just means this team hasn't woken up yet. You just got to give them a quarter to wake up. Then that third and fourth rolls around, and then it's an easy comeback.
When I was watching it looked like the Pacers were playing better and then that fourth quarter came. Oh, whoa!
What?
Grizzlies are trading Desmond Bane to the Magic. I can't.
What? Is this breaking news?
Yeah, but I can't click on it because I don't see.
Okay, I'll try to break the news. I'll go to Twitter.
I don't see what the full trade is because
is this a Shams bombs?
Yeah, because I can't leave. I don't know why.
Shams bomb. Well, I'll share it. I got you.
That shit sounds so trash. A Shams bomb.
It sounds racist. Calling it a Shams bomb. It went from a Lowe's bomb to a. Let's go back to this. Desmond Bane. Contavious Caldwell-Pope. Holy cow. Holy cannoli. I do think this was a necessary move for the Grizzlies. I've been thinking this and saying this for a while. The Ja-Bane combo, it sounds good. It looks good. It feels good. But what's the overall ceiling on that? There's defensive limitations there. And I think this could help. KCP is a champion. He's a winner. I thought last season.
I'm champion.
Right, two-time champion. Can't forget that. Kenny. That's what they call him.
Two different teams. Different.
Right. So, he's a two-time champ. This is a championship move. You're getting rid of your better player in hopes of getting a better collective. But you're also getting 4 unprotected first-round picks for Pope. And that's what the Magic are getting. So, you really look at this and you just think, like, they reloaded. This is a Thunder-esque move to do this.
Wow. They get 4 unprotected. That's crazy.
And they reload. And if they see what Shea is doing, they hope they can maybe emulate it with Ja. You get some more picks. You get a couple more young guys in there while you could do cheap contracts and you could still afford Jaren Jackson Jr. and Ja. And then hopefully one of your other guys. And I think this could be a move to keep Santi Aldama because they believe in him. I think he's pretty damn good and he plays great in Olympic and FIBA ball.
I agree. That's a win that's a huge win for the Grizzlies to me.
Yeah.
Just off the 4 first-round picks alone. And then you get a veteran, an NBA champion, 2-time NBA champion, as we talked about in KCP. Cole Anthony played really well off the bench for Orlando last season.
Good shooter, too.
Yeah.
I think this is a great move for honestly both sides, too. Because at the same time, Desmond Bane is going to add the shooting and everything else that they need.
Yeah.
Also, that means you could maybe even run Jalen Suggs at the 1 next year because he's more of a playmaker. He's whatever. Maybe Bane could be the 1, but then obviously you have more of the playmaking and everything else through him. So I don't know. I don't know what you would want to do. What do you think? Like, what do you do with Bane? What do you do with Suggs? Is that the move? Because now Cole Anthony's out of there, so you know for a fact he's not going to be in the starting lineup or KCP.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bane could have the ball in his hands a lot too. I mean, he's a good playmaker.
But I'm saying, like, what's up with that role? Because you would have Paulo's the 4.
Yeah.
Franz is the 3. Someone has to be the 2, right? And it's Bane, and they have Suggs.
But it is kind of odd. They don't really have a true point guard.
Right, but like you said, Bane could be a playmaker and all those things. So is this like a way for Bane to transition to a point guard, and then you have Suggs as the 2? But really, you have 2 kind of point guard, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
2 guys that share the sugar.
And, all those guys can put the ball on the floor. I mean, Franz can, and so can Paulo, obviously.
Right. Wow. I can't believe this is so cool.
And also, I think it's a bonus for the Magic, too, because hopefully this means less three-point attempts from Franz.
Right. Exactly. And now it opens the floor up. The spacing's better. People actually have to guard Bane. So now you can't close out on the double. You can't get a hand in there and make him fumble the rock, Franz, on the way to the rack. And you already know Paulo loves his ISO game.
Right.
So if you could actually kind of split it up and now you got the floor spaced out for Paulo, he could operate better with Bane on the court.
Exactly.
Though KCP is a great shooter, Bane is more of a high volume shooter, quick trigger. That's scary. You know what I'm saying? It's just a higher volume, so you will respect it way more.
And he can score in many more ways too.
Right.
He can really get a bucket on his own.
He's a 3-level scorer.
Yeah.
Yeah. He can get to the rack. He can do some stuff. Even though he's got short arms, he figures it out.
And T-Rex arms work okay.
They do. I mean, he's a sniper.
He is. 41% from 3 for his career.
An actual sniper on high volume. So I respect Bane. I respect his game. I think this is a big-time move for Orlando to get serious. Though the Magic might not really have too much valuable first-round picks in the future. We don't know exactly what first-round picks these are.
I think Shams broke it down somewhere.
Fanciful trading machine. Let me see.
They got Phoenix's first-round pick in 2020.
If I go to the Magic, I don't think they updated it yet. No, they still have KCP. So this is perfect. I think I could look at their draft capital.
Well, it says they're getting Phoenix's first-round pick in 2026.
They're getting a Phoenix pick?
Yeah, Phoenix first-round pick in 2026. Magic 2028 unprotected first-rounder.
All right, so I'll read you what that actually is. This is a first-round pick 2026. It's a Phoenix or Washington swap right. Washington has the right to swap it. It's a 2026 first-round pick protected for selections 9 through 30 for the Phoenix 2026 first overall pick. Orlando then has the right to swap the 2026 first-round pick for the less favorable of the Phoenix pick and the Washington pick if conveyable. Memphis then has the right to swap its 2026 first-round pick for its least and less favorable of the Phoenix pick. The Washington pick was conveyable, and the Orlando pick and the Charlotte will receive the least favorable of any of these. If the Washington pick is not conveyable, then committed to Washington will be lifted, and Orlando will instead have the rights to swap pick for Phoenix pick. This pick is a Phoenix via Charlotte pick originally. All of that being said, that was confusing as fuck, and that was just a whole bunch of like lawyer speak. But at the end of the day, this was originally Charlotte's pick, I believe. Phoenix to Charlotte. I don't know whose pick this is, actually. But now Memphis has it, and actually Memphis was tied up in it already. It says Mem then has the right to swap at some point. So Memphis was somewhere in here. If a random pick hit, somehow, if the selection was within, am I still sharing this? Hold on. Oh, I'm not sharing the right screen. So right here, can you see it, or should I zoom?
Zoom in a little bit. Yeah, that's a little better.
So this is what I read, this whole thing.
Yeah.
It's insane. All these rules.
That's it is.
The protections are crazy, but Memphis is in it right here, Mem. So somehow, if this pick would have fell through, it would have been a whole bunch of these little domino effects that triggered all these other protections that teams did with this pick in the future. Who knows how many times this pick has gotten traded? This is ridiculous.
Man.
But this is what the Magic have right now, but this is what they traded. So we're talking first round picks with no protections. Is that this year's number 1625? It's a good deep draft class. That could be good, but it's not. It's not the top 10. It's not the money picks you want, you know. But 16 this year, I think you could actually get a guy. 25 as well. I'd say there's a deep class up to like 35, and then after that, maybe 40. Then after that, it's a bunch of like random seniors and kind of odds and ends freshmen that you want to take a swing on with high upside. But NIL has kind of changed the way college operates. I think it's going to operate more like the women's game. People are going to do all 4 years unless you're a super stud freshman that wants to go to the league. And then maybe there's a couple sophomores that got hurt their freshman year or had to do some transfer thing because grades or the coach and you know, politics of basketball, of it all, you know, the team shit where they can't play or whatever. I think there's going to be a few of those guys, obviously, but yeah, mainly it's going to be these seniors and pop out freshmen. I think before this NIL stuff, it was a better mixture. And if anything, seniors were like, whoa, what the fuck? Now, I think some of the best guys are going to be seniors coming out.
Makes sense.
And you look at Zach Edey. I mean, he wasn't necessarily a senior, but stayed multiple years, 2-time player of the year in college in the NCAA. Like, that's huge. You know what I'm saying? And there's guys now coming out. Another big man I like. His name is Ryan Kalkbrenner from Creighton. 4-time defensive player of the year in their conference. And it's like, that's pretty fucking good. 4-time defensive player of the year. He's a senior coming out. He shoots like almost 40% from three. He's incredible. Big time shot blocker. 7'1" without shoes on. Legit 7'1". Not like listed at 7'1". I think he was, barefoot at the combine 7'1". So it's a big dude. 7'2" with shoes. And he's got the strap.
Wow.
There's some interesting people in the draft. So I think right here, when you're looking at what Orlando gave up, like I said, we don't know exactly, but they're saying 4 unprotected firsts. So let's say at least one. We already know this one, right?
Yeah.
Then at least one of these from this year. 16 or 25 could be both. But at least one. So there's 2. And now they have this future treasure trove all the way from 2031 to 2027 where they could. So they have how many first round picks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 firsts. It could be any of those. It could be both of these from this year. Obviously, the Phoenix one or whatever, the swap. The swap is dog shit, though. If we're being real, the swap is actually dog shit.
Just really confusing.
Yeah. So it's a Phoenix pick for next year. This is contingent on what Phoenix will do, right? So, like, what do you think Phoenix could do this offseason that would make them be a terrible team that you would want their pick? I think they're going to improve. This seems like last year kind of seemed like a year they were trying to figure some things out. KD could be on the move, but are you blowing it up, or are you actually getting players of value back? And I think Devin Booker is a player you want to build around and win now.
Right.
So you should be getting something back.
Well,
Whether it's you're trading KD to the Knicks, you better get Cat, get his Kentucky boy in there. That's his friend. You trade him to Minnesota, you get Julius Randle, another Kentucky boy in there. They didn't play together, but Kentucky boys, you know what I'm saying? The Wildcats, the Calipari, like they're a family. They know each other for sure. I know that. So it's like maybe they want to do something with there's the Villanova Knicks. Now they do the little Wildcat West or some shit in Phoenix.
Wildcat.
So, I don't know. They can mix it up.
That's tough. The Wildcat West.
I don't know how I come up with these things. I just got bars, I just drop them.
Come on.
Dropping dimes, dropping bars. It just is what it is.
Start writing some bars. You got one leg here. You can't be hooping for some time now. You gotta pick up something else.
You know what's funny? You said that the first day after I went home after I hurt my leg, and I started coloring. So I have a Pokemon coloring book and some coloring pencils that I brought to work a couple times and shit. Just because there's days where like there could be downtime, or I know we have art or something else. You know what I'm saying? And so I'll try to just kill some time and doodle and stuff. And I like Pokemon, so at least I'm coloring something I like.
Yeah, that's something right there.
Yeah. So I felt like Frida Kahlo though. Because in second grade, we teach about Frida Kahlo, the Mexican painter. She's an artist and like a revolutionary and an advocate, in many ways. She's a really good person, or was a really good person. So, we teach about them. But what happened with her is she got in this big accident, a big car accident, in a metal pole. Literally, she was like in this like kind of public taxi. It was like a van with the roof cut off or some shit. It was in Mexico, and it really wasn't up to code or something, because somehow the car broke and a pipe went through her stomach, and it actually ended up like rupturing a whole bunch of her uterus and all this stuff. She actually couldn't have kids. She had to walk with a limp, and it messed her up really bad, and it put her in a hospital bed. And but then they had to make that into her house. So she was just like laid up. She had this hospital bed thing in her room, and she was just laid up there. And she started painting her neighbors because she missed them, because these are people in her community and that she'd see every day walking around outside and playing outside and stuff. And that was basically me after I tore my Achilles. I just went right to my coloring book. I was laid up in bed, and I was just coloring. And I was like, I'm Frida Kahlo. So I think that's what I picked up on. I don't know. Maybe I could start rapping, writing the bars down, but I think coloring has been pretty good for
me. We got to a Desmond Bain trade. We went from a Desmond Bain trade to Frida Kahlo.
Always goes back to the W.
Always goes back to the W.
But yeah, oh man. All right, back to Desmond Bain and this Caldwell Pope thing. God, that's a lot of first round picks. But also, now let's go back to the roster. Let's look at these numbers. KCP, 2 years, $22 million. And they got Cole Anthony 2 years. So they didn't get rentals. Unless this is from last year and now they only have 1 year left.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, these aren't the worst numbers in the world. And they lost Tyus Jones, and I think they need that backup moxie. But they also still have Scottie Pippen Jr., though I think Scottie Pippen can play up. He can play the two.
And Scottie Pippen played really well last year.
Yeah, he's awesome. So, yeah, I think he can play with Cole Anthony, still share the court. Might be a little small, but I think they can get it done. Yeah, this not too bad. Then let's check out where is the Grizz? Here we go. And Baines. So Baines like really locked up at 37 for the next 4 years. I don't know what this ULI means. Let me see. NBA contract ULI. Why is it bringing me to Ulrich Kamchi? That's not who I'm trying to. What is a ULI in a contract? It's interesting because right here you see it, right?
Mm.
What is a ULI? Unrestricted. How do I not know this? Do you see this?
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
ULI in a contract. I don't know. Urban Land Institute. That's what Google says. That's definitely not what it is. Who knows? I don't know what the ULI is. I don't know if that's a trade kicker and that's like the legal jargon for it potentially, or maybe some sort of trade. What is it called? A trade restriction? Not a trade restriction. Damn, what the hell is that called? Who knows? All right, sorry guys. But if you were actually here, you could tell us. Chat sleep right now.
How many viewers do we have? 2?
I don't want to talk about it.
I ain't got no viewers.
We are the 2 viewers.
Are the viewers?
Usually we get at least like 3 to 5 going.
Yeah.
But we've been balancing 1 to 2 and we fell off. We're down bad.
God damn.
God damn. They don't know what the ULI is. I blame them. Well, anyway, this trade is kind of crazy. We're waiting for the more info. Shams has tweeted. Let's share this tab instead. Breaking news. I wish I could like go in and change the name, because then if we could change the name, let me see, edit. Yeah, here we go. Desmond Bain trade live. Ooh, that's how you switch it up right there. I got to change the thumbnail to Desmond Bain.
And there should be like, this should start something now with all the trades. I mean, the draft is 10 days away.
Right?
Maybe this is the start of it.
I think it could get crazy.
Where do you think KD's going out of those 3 destinations?
The 3 destinations.
It was San Antonio, Houston, and Miami.
Miami's on this list?
When Shams reported it earlier this week, yeah. He reported like yesterday or the day before
Oh, wow.
that his 3 preferred destinations were Miami, Houston, and Miami, Houston, and San Antonio. San Antonio would be nuts. San Antonio, they're like that's something there. Houston, I don't really see it. I don't like Houston at all.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why they're not letting me change this shit. Who knows? I don't know what's happening. Yes, it's scheduled later. Who knows? Whatever. We can't steal the viewership. We'd have to shut this down and redo the stream, make a new one. It's kind of forcing it. But is it?
Is what?
We'd have to redo a segment on
For what?
on Bane. And if we wanted to rename the stream, and then people are typing in Desmond Bane trade live reactions and all that shit now.
No.
Yeah, forcing it.
Yeah.
Not doing it for the content. Doing it for the love of the game.
Love of the game.
Anyway, let's go to the UFC. That trade really threw everything off.
For 27 minutes.
Yeah. That was really interesting though.
No.
It's a big time trade. Like the East got better, right?
Yeah.
In a way, I think the East got a star and somebody who honestly is going to be competing against, Cam Thomas for a shooting guard spot on the All-Star team. I've been scouting the East, and honestly, the shooting guard spot is slim pickings. Like, really think about the teams in the East, right? NBA East standings. We know the Cavs are blowing it up, right?
They're blowing it up, you think?
Garland, somebody's going. One of the guards and Jared Allen.
It better not be Mitchell. That'd be dumb as hell to get rid of Mitchell.
He never wanted to be there.
Yeah.
So Mitchell never wanted to be there, right? So if we're talking about shooting guards, like I said, in this position, in this role for All-Star next year, Mitchell might be the one on the Cavs. Mitchell might be gone.
I would.
He's a 2,
yeah,
and he's kind of there, right?
Yeah.
Celtics, Jaylen Brown hasn't really been considered a 2 guard for a long time.
I think he's a 3.
He's a 3, right?
Yeah.
So Derek White, he's like a combo and not necessarily like all-star material. He could be doing something, some work next year with Tatum out and maybe an increased role, increased shots and stuff. Drew Holiday, probably not an all-star next year.
Yeah, he might not be on the Celtics, might not even be in the East next year.
Right.
But
Knicks.
Derek White, cusp though. He's on the cusp of being an all-star. He's very close, I think. And with Tatum out next year, some other guys are going to have to step up scoring-wise. And I think he'll definitely be one of those guys.
Yeah. But all-star?
I don't know.
Are we talking like 22 plus, carrying in the news, people talking about you?
I think it's very close. And I think with Tatum out, it only helps his chances.
For Derek White?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not saying
but at the same time, more of a point guard, but combo guard, maybe we could consider it. The Knicks, no shooting guard there. Maybe Bridges, but he's more of a 3.
Yeah, I would list Bridges as a 3.
Pacers, no shooting guard of mention necessarily to be an all-star.
Nope.
Nembhard, great rebounder, can get hot from 3, hustle guy, not an all-star. Nembhard, undersized guard, not necessarily a 20-point a game guy, isn't going to light it up or take all-star spots, right? Bucks, no shooting guard to mention there. Pistons, Jaden Ivey, maybe if he comes back and does things, he could potentially be that. I mean, that's the hope. The ceiling for Ivey is you hope he's an all-star caliber two guard, right?
Now the Magic have Bane.
Thank you. So we're talking Donovan Mitchell and Bane, right?
Well, if you keep Miami,
and then Derek White, but like, I love Derek White. He's just like a tier below. He's just not like a star face of the team guy or all-star type guy, but he is such a great player. He's such a glue guy, high IQ. But I like Derek White. I'm not saying anything bad against him. But Miami, if anything, he's a little too unselfish, and that's why he's such a good teammate, and maybe not why he's not a 25-point a game scorer, but he's cohesive in winning and he's unselfish. But you need some level of this, like, what is it called? Irrational confidence. You know, like sometimes those big shot makers are big shot takers, and they miss shots too. But you got to be that type of guy to be the next level superstar. And Bane's a big time shot maker, shot taker. Mitchell, same thing. Both guys too, who are 6'3" at the two, right? These are two of the best shooting guards in the East. We just named the top 7 teams. We're going to keep going, but only 2 guys in the top 7, and they're both undersized 6'3" shooting guards. Those are the only guys with scoring chops. So, next. Heat.
Tyler Hero,
6'5" shooting guard. Decent. So he may get his real all-star nod next year. Bulls. Who's there 2?
Kobe White.
Is he there 2 or is he there 1?
Well, you got Josh Giddey at your 1, I would say.
Is Giddey the 1?
I think so. I mean, they list on Basketball Reference, they list Kobe White as a point guard and a shooting guard. I think he's more of a shooting guard.
Let's see this. Let's see at ESPN. Let's see. Bulls depth chart. Not that this is like a one and for all answer, but Giddey's listed at the 1.
Yeah.
Kobe's listed at the 3. So, you know, this might be dog shit.
I mean, I think personally, I think Kobe White's 2.
Yeah.
I would list Kobe White. I could see it as a point guard. But I would list him as a shooting guard first, then a point guard.
Right. I agree. I think this is very strange to list him as the 3, but
yeah, that's crazy.
I know. But hey, maybe Kobe White's a 3. So crazier things have happened.
You have he's not 6'5". He's
right.
6'5". A Basketball Reference listed as 6'5". God damn.
I never thought Kobe White was that tall. I thought he was 6'4".
I didn't think
like Westbrook.
I didn't think
he was like. Who knows?
I didn't even think he was 6'4".
Really?
The hair helps him.
Let me see. Kobe White combine.
The hair helps him.
Oh yeah, 6'4" and 3/4 with shoes in the 2009 combine. Let me see. Look, share this tab instead. Talking about Kobe White. Kobe White right here. Yeah, height without shoes, 6'3.5".
So
I have all these sites memorized and how to find everything.
So he's grown 1.5 inches in height.
Yeah, like look, Gafford 6'9.25". Cam Reddish 6'6.5". Cam Johnson 6'7". Bruno Fernando only 6'8".
Yeah.
Short big. Brandon Clark 6'7". Bol legit almost 7'1". Height Look at this height without shoes. 7'5", Taco Fall.
Jesus.
And look at this with Clax. Legit 6'10". That's good to know.
He might be on the move.
He's an inch taller. He's an inch taller than Gafford. Yeah, he's definitely on the move. I think so. Jaden McDaniels, 6'8". Nas Reed, look at that. Wait, why is tripping? Why is Nas Reed listed below? Shouldn't he be here? If this was in order? You see that?
Yeah.
That's a glitch or something. I don't know what, or it's typed in wrong or something, but that's weird. I don't know why that random one is out of order.
Right.
6875 should be here with Bruno Fernando, but he's listed below his teammate Jaden McDaniels. But yeah, they're basically the same height. They're both 6'8". Kind of crazy because they play totally different ways, totally different positions, their play styles, the way they guard, who they guard, everything.
That's Jalen McDaniels, though.
Good call. Very good call.
But the way it's set up is odd, though. But.
Yeah, I think that threw me off. But yeah, PJ Washington, 6'6". Yeah, you could, find out. Look at this, Grant Williams. Let's see Grant Williams real quick. Yeah, 6'5" without shoes. 6'5" and 7'5".
6'5", 300 pounds.
No, he was not. He was 240.
Can't be.
See, you could look up everybody here, like height without shoes. Let's see. This is Kata's draft class.
Can you look up Thon Maker's age?
40. He's 40. He might have been 35 on draft night. Zaire Williams, Isaiah Mobley, Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson's like a legit 6'8". I figured. I actually thought he was a little taller, to be honest. Trey Murphy. I think Trey Murphy grew. He looks huge.
He's lanky as hell.
Because look, he's listed a little shorter than Jalen Johnson, but the same in shoes. So maybe he's just wears taller shoes. Trent Watford, Scotty Barnes, 6'7". Did Cam Thomas measure? No, he didn't. Cam Thomas didn't do the combine. Neither did Daron Sharp. Evan Mobley didn't do the combine. Kuminga didn't do it.
Jalen Green
didn't do it. Cade or Sharif Cooper. You know what's funny? Evan Mobley didn't do it, but his brother did, because I seen Mobley up here.
Because his brother sucks.
Yeah, his brother had to, because he was trying to get recruited. He was older. Yep. All right, so then other shooting guards. So we said Tyler Hero, Bain now, Mitchell, Hawks.
No.
Dyson Daniels, kinda. He's like a 3-2-3, and he plays defense. Can he make an all-star team? Who knows?
I don't know if he puts up the numbers, but I mean, he definitely improved upon his numbers in his first season with Atlanta. So
I think he's a great ball handler, good playmaker too. He always sees the open man.
I don't know if I don't know what you consider Emmanuel Quickly. He's kind of
I think he's a point.
Yeah,
he's a point to me.
They list him as a point and a shooting guard, but he does shoot a lot. But I would list him as a point guard first.
Yeah, definitely. Oh. I don't think he's a 2. Then you got the Nets. You got Cam Thomas. So he's the 4th shooting guard there. After that, you got the 76ers who knows? They're gonna draft a guard. You have Maxey, he's a point guard.
Yeah.
Then you have McCain, who's gonna be like either a 6-man type player.
Yeah.
Or a 2 guard. And then don't they have someone else? Yeah, whoever they draft. So they're drafting at 3, and most likely they're going to take, either VJ Edgecombe, Dylan Harper, or Ace Bailey, whatever is really available there, right? At 3. So, because they're not going to get Cooper Flagg, obviously, at 1, and then whoever picks 2, any of the 3 people, Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, or VJ Edgecombe, and then you get the scraps of those 2, and then 4th pick kind of, gets the 4th guy out of the bunch. But it's not always necessarily the worst guy, like sometimes they could just be scouted and everything else, or just miscast or misfit on a team. But yeah, so they're going to get a guy, but he's not going to be an all-star right away. Dylan Harper's not going to be an all-star his first season, especially with Maxey next to him as the 2, if he's going to be the 2. VJ Edgecombe's not going to be an all-star first season. Ace Bailey's not going to be an all-star, and he's also not a shooting guard. He's a 3. Like, maybe you can put him at the 2, but I think he's a better rebounder. You put him at the 3. So, yeah, there's not a shooting guard there that's an all-star. Hornets. I don't consider Brandon Miller a shooting guard.
I would list him as a 3 first, but I could see where
a 3 to me. They have him listed everywhere as a shooting guard, but he's 6'9" and he can't play defense. He doesn't move his feet. He plays defense with his arms. So, he's not a 2. There's no way he's a 2. He can't keep up with guards. He can't.
They only have him listed as a small forward on Basketball Reference.
Good, because through his draft process, he was listed a lot as a 3. I mean, as a 2, and Wes is a 3, and he's more of a 3 to me. Anyway, so yeah, they don't have a shooting guard right now. And then the Wizards. Who's their shooting guard? Johnny Davis? Like, no, they don't really have a shooting guard to me. Like Bub Carrington.
You consider Chris Middleton? I mean, Chris Middleton's a 2.
Middleton, he can't guard 2s.
A 3-2.
He's a 3. He's damn near going to be a stretch 4 soon.
They got Poole listed as a shooting guard. And
they got Jordan Poole. He's not an all-star level. No one's going to vote for him to be an all-star. I don't care what he does next year.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But I would consider him more of a point guard than a shooting guard. But
me too.
He kind of came along in the second half of the year.
Yeah, like a quickly. Like, he can be a combo guard. I do consider him more of a 1 than a 2, though.
Yeah.
Jordan Poole and Quick. So, yeah, like there's legit 4 all-star shooting guards in the East. And that's pretty much, I mean, you probably need 3, right?
Right.
So all he has to do is outplay one of these guys.
For now.
He's got to outplay, for now. He's got to outplay, but I'm saying that adds Bane. Because before, I thought Cam Thomas was literally going to be walking into a layup all-star selection this season. I did not expect Bane to come to the Magic.
Yeah, now you have
not Bane. Nobody, I don't think anybody expected Bane to be there or Bane to even get traded. I feel like no one's mentioned Bane. Bane's always forgotten about. He's a 20-point-a-game scorer, 20 points, about 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Like you said, 41% from the 3 for his whole career. The guy's a sniper. He's super consistent. You're basically getting, like the best version of like Malcolm Brogdon we've ever seen, but without the attitude and bullshit. Like we've seen Brogdon put up those numbers in a good season and be awesome. And you're like, wow, 6'4" shooting guard. He could assist. He could hit the 3 consistently. He's like a 40, 50, 90 guy, like, or 50, 40, 90 guy. Like, this is who you want. And the consistency, a rock as shooting guard, and then you could build stars around him, and everything works because you could always rely on him. It's like Klay Thompson. You know what I'm saying? Like, Curry worked and Draymond worked, everything, because they had the steadiest rock at the shooter, at a shooting position or on the wing, that you couldn't fuck around and cheat elsewhere and help elsewhere because you don't want to leave Klay open. That's a layup for him from the 3-point line, So you need these type of cornerstone pieces that give you the confidence to get creative elsewhere. And, yeah, this is a big-time move, and he's probably going to steal an all-star spot.
Yeah.
At the same time, is he the 3rd best player on his team? And I think that could come down to some voting, right? Because what if Franz and Paolo don't make it somehow? But I do think with Tatum out and hurt, that's a slot open for Paolo or Franz or both.
Right.
Because one of them was probably going to sneak in regardless.
Paolo.
You know, Paolo was going to be in the All-Star game. Now Franz gets 2. Will they have 3? That means they would have to be first in the East. They'd have to be taken over. You know, like the Magic, they changed their jerseys up. They would have to really, like, take the league by storm. New Magic, new face, new logo, new play style, you know? So, shit. The more and more I think about it, it's kind of scary.
It's a cool trade for both teams, though.
Yeah, it is.
At least for now.
Right, at least for now. Wow. And yeah, this is it's gonna be interesting. Taking my boys' spots. They better not take my boys' spot. So yeah, like I said, if he's the third best player on the team, they might not even give him that all-star spot, and then that might be the factor. So all-star season coming. Loading up. I just wonder who the Nets are going to draft. That's going to be something that's everybody, I think, is going to be.
Or who they're going to trade.
Right, or who they're going to trade, because they have 4 picks, 4 firsts.
You would think Cam Johnson, because it seemed like right before the deadline, it was almost a sure thing he was going to get traded.
Yeah.
And they decided to hang on to him. Claxton, it seems like, too, so.
I think I heard the Warriors wanted Cam Johnson and a few other teams.
I saw that too.
Yeah, I thought he would have been a good piece, good fit over there instead of Kuminga and Moody.
Right.
You know, I like the way Moody drives to the cup. I think that's the favorite thing I have about Moody. He can hit the 3 and do other things, but his best skill is just putting his head down and putting his shoulder into you. He can get to the rim. It's a strong dude.
And Kuminga is really good, really athletic too, but he just, I don't know if he has an attitude problem or him and Kerr just don't see eye to eye and he doesn't get consistent minutes, but you see when he plays, he's really good.
I think he doesn't play within the offense.
Mm-hmm.
He does a lot of more selfish shit. He doesn't get the extra pass as much as they want him to. Defensively, probably not as good as he should be because he likes to show all the flashy athleticism on offense, but then he doesn't like to show it on defense. Get some motor props. Kuminga definitely had red flags all over him. I'd say all the G League guys typically have the red flags all over him. But
so he could be on the block.
There are some guys that I think who went through the G who aren't the stars who actually got the best out of it because then they went and became pro role players that year instead of becoming pro like fake stars, fake like first round picks, but they weren't. You know what I'm saying? Like they were really playing bad ball. But at the same time, there were these guys all around them that learned and had to play around and be glue guys. And the Montes Puzelises, the Dyson Daniels, he came from the G League Ignite. Like these role guys come out of there and win. But I don't know about the star guards. Like Jalen Green, he tried to be the superstar, big time scorer, light up the G League. No defense, no real fundamentals other than, hey, give me the rock and I'm going to try to make it, go through the basket. Like
that's why I hate Durant if he went to going to the Rockets. Him going to the Rockets doesn't make sense to me because I feel like he's good when he has others. I mean, he's great either way, but when he has other stars around him, who's the other real star on that team? I mean, I understand Şengün's an all-star.
Yeah.
He's not your, the top guy. He's not one of the top guys in the league. I don't see it. I mean, especially Durant, who's been injury prone since his Achilles injury, being the number one option at his age, I just don't see it for Houston. Mm-hmm. And they took a big jump from, last season to this season, but I don't see that for him going to Houston. I think San Antonio and Miami sounds much better. Him going to San Antonio would be scary.
I agree.
That'd be something else. Him, Wemby. See how it works out with De'Aaron Fox.
I'm glad trade season just started though. Like I'm freaking out in my. You already know the trade machine. Like I'm like.
10 days away. 10 days away until the draft too. So it's only going to get.
I got my mock draft Here, I'll give you a little preview. Whoever's on the show gets a little preview of it.
It's only going to get crazier.
So right now, I'm working through some things. I'm kind of getting a little crazy with it. There we go. But this is where I'm at. So it looks really bland and generic right now. You're looking at basically a white document. But I'll try to spice it up, get some pictures, get some more things. But basically, my mock draft, I got Cooper Flagg going 1. My player comparisons are like a Pascal Siakam, Chris Webber, Tatum, Jerry Stackhouse. You're getting an offensive forward that still has some defensive and rebounding qualities to it. Siakam, still a great defender, about 6'8", same size as Cooper Flagg. Same with Tatum. I think Tatum's a little bigger than Flagg and a way better rebounder. Tatum, I thought, was like such an elite rebounder at the college level because he was playing the 3 and he's still just like the way he would board was on, like I said, it was just like something I never seen. I remember writing it in my mock draft. I remember tweeting about it early. Like Tatum has this elite skill that no one talks about, and I don't think anyone knows because the flashy offense, the smooth, silky, like just way he scored, it kind of threw you off that this guy was actually one of the baddest motherfuckers on the glass. You know, I don't feel that way about Cooper Flagg, but he definitely has the qualities, and he also has the same trainer. So Drew Hanlon's his trainer. Cooper Flagg is a big time Celtics fan. He wants to play for the Celtics. Him and Tatum share the same trainer. I think he kind of idolizes Tatum in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So I think he looks up to Tatum. I think he sees the game. It's won championships. He's a Celtics fan. Why wouldn't you want to recreate Tatum's game? Because he's a champion.
Right.
And you play the same position. You have similar skill sets. You could be the next Jason Tatum, whatever team you go to. And that's what Cooper Flagg is. Some Chris Webber to him. He's got a lot of, he's got fun transition opportunities. He bangs down low. He's got some really good qualities. Chris Webber is also like pretty fun on the perimeter. You watch some of his highlights, you can see a mixture of both. And he does have some guard to him and a little stack house. Next, I actually have VJ Edgecombe going 2. I like VJ better than I like Dylan Harper. Shoot me. Last year I had Matas at 1, and he fucking went 10. So VJ to me is the number 2 prospect. I like VJ Edgecombe a lot. I loved what he did on the Bahamas team. He was the best player there. He killed it in FIBA. And this was before college. This was a high school kid. Before he even played a single game over there at Baylor, this man was playing for the Bahamas national team with DeAndre Ayton, Buddy Hield, Eric Gordon, and I believe there's actually someone else on that squad too. And he was the best player on that team. Multiple games. You go back and watch that shit, and you're like, this was a high school kid doing this? And he was facing real teams, real Olympic teams. You know what I'm saying? So I think VJ's got big-time game. He had moments where he went cold through the Baylor season, throughout the college season. And, it is what it is. I don't think he's like this crazy, shifty shot creator, all this other stuff. I think he's just the ultimate, like the third option on a team. But he's like that rock-solid third option for you. Amazing defender. And he's got the opportunity to take over games still. I don't know. I really like him. I like VJ Edgecombe. I just think he's going to be better, and especially better at the role. With Dylan Harper going 3. This is also what's his name? Why am I drawing a blank right now? I want to call him James Dolan. I don't know why. Philly. Who ran the whatchamacallit.
70.
Philly, the 76ers. Elton Brand and what's his name?
Where's Daryl Morey now?
Daryl Morey, yeah. Where is Daryl Morey right now?
Is he in Philly? Is he still in Philly?
Yeah, he's still in Philly. He's the president of basketball operations. Elton Brand's the fake GM. But Daryl Morey's still there, and this is the most Daryl Morey guy there is in the draft. Daryl Morey loves guys who fill it all up and do everything at the guard position. And I feel like if you squint, you could kind of see some James Harden in Dylan Harper. Squint.
You got to squint.
He's a lefty. He's 6'4". He does a lot of things. He could be a triple-double guy in the future. You know, in college, he was averaging about 16, 4, and 4, and which are honestly pretty good numbers, right? But if you translate 16, 4, and 4 to the NBA, somebody averaging 16, 4, and 4 is Derek White. That's what he did this season. Legit, same exact numbers if you compare the stats. I wouldn't say the play styles are the same, but the stats are very comparable. But I think Dylan Harper's game won't necessarily translate as well against, NBA players compared to college. I think he's a good driver. I think the shot is going to come around eventually. I don't think he's going to be a good shooter right away. People talk about his shot off the dribble and what he could do. I don't believe in the shot early. I think it's going to be rough. I think he's going to be 30% shooter for this rookie year. People are going to doubt him. It's going to be kind of a mess. But he's still his lefty guard, and he's a combo guard, and he's very interesting to me. And you see the Walt Frazier comparison? Because he's a point guard. He's 6'4", and he literally can. Like, let's say his ceiling, I think Dylan Harper, 20 points. I think he's at 20. Maybe he could get to 24, but like 25 and 5. That's like the ideal thing for Derek Harper, right? And that's what Walt Frazier did. And he's got some flash to his game. He's going to have fun. I think Dylan Harper, peak, if he is what he is, could be James Harden, Walt Frazier level playmaker at the point, being 6'4", and having a lot of other intangibles to him. But if he doesn't really reach that ceiling, I think he could be around a Tyreek Evans, meaning the offensive game translated, but the defense didn't translate to the league.
Mm-hmm.
Derek White, offensive game, like I said, translated like Tyreek Evans, kind of there, playmaking guard, can score 15 easily, efficiently, can rebound, playmake, all that stuff. But the defense also kind of took it up a notch. He might not be the shot blocker, Derek White is. Nobody really is. But to have that solid, complete game, his dad was in the league. I think he is more of a complete player than just this blank slate. He's good at passing. He could create. I think he's more of a complete player, and that's also why Daryl Morey is going to love Dylan Harper. He is a complete player, and that's who he wants. Somebody who could get stats in every single category, and that's what he brings. Next, you're not going to hear his name called Richard by anybody, but his real name is Richard. Trey Johnson III. Have you heard about Trey?
I've not heard about really many of these guys.
Okay, so Trey Johnson went to Texas, and you're going to hear him as Trey Johnson, but I haven't looked up everyone's real names. I love doing that. I love doing it with all my mock drafts, because a lot of guys, they come in with nicknames and all that other stuff, so I'll put the real names, like VJ. No one's ever going to put Valdez Edgecombe, but Valdez, VJ Edgecombe, and for Trey Johnson, Richard Trey Johnson III. I have a comparison to him for Michael Redd, CJ McCollum, and Ray Allen. That's really the best ceiling he could get to, obviously, is a Ray Allen. He's a very comparable shooter to, I'd say, like a righty Michael Redd. Like I like the way he holds his form and he stays like poised. His shoulders are square. He's pretty solid. Some people have compared him to Cam Thomas. I just don't want to compare him to Cam Thomas because I don't even think he's reached his potential. So I just don't think I could compare him to him. Also, which is funny, is all these fucking mock drafts have Trey Johnson compared to Cam Thomas. So if Cam Thomas is a 4th pick of the first round, what are we talking about? You know what I'm saying?
High praise for Cam Thomas.
Right, it's high praise for Cam Thomas, but yet they're saying this dude isn't good, but yet the 4th pick of the draft should be this guy because he plays just like Cam Thomas. You know, the math ain't mathing, in my opinion. So that's the comparison they give. I think I see a little bit of a different game with him. He has a high usage rate. This Trey Johnson kid out of Texas, it's like a 30% usage, which is really high, and he didn't have a high assist rate. I've watched some of his stuff. I think he's a really talented scorer. Moving on, Ace Bailey. Ace Bailey. He has some really good things about his game and some really bad things about his game. Did you watch Duke at all?
I didn't watch any real college basketball.
So you didn't watch any of the March Madness or anything?
No, I watched the March Madness, yeah.
So you watched some of Duke. You've seen Cooper Flag a little bit. You've seen Conka Nipple, the other white guy on the squad, the shooter.
Yeah.
And then they had the tall African kid, Cayman Maluach.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Maluach shot 77% from the free throw line, right? Ace Bailey, he's a small forward and considered like a scorer, like a really fill-it-up scorer, 20, 25-point-a-game guy. And he scored 39 in a game as a freshman. Huge potential. But he shoots 69% from the free throw line. And I think that's such a red flag. He's either lazy or something's up, you know? But I don't like that. That Maluach, who just started playing basketball 4 years ago, shoots at 77%, but yet Ace Bailey has been the number 1 recruit since he's been a little kid, and you shoot 69% from the free throw line.
That is odd.
I don't like that. That sounds like he maybe isn't coachable. He doesn't want to get better in certain aspects of the game. He doesn't actually value it. And anybody who wants to be a 30-point scorer knows you need free throws to be a 30-point scorer. If you want to be a superstar in this league, you have to get to the line. You have to convert from the line. And if you're going to shoot 69%, that's not that fucking good. If you want to be a small forward who's considered a shooter and a shot creator and Kobe and all this other stuff, you got to shoot over 70%. That's just what it is. That's just how it's got to be. You got to shoot over 70%. So he's not doing that right now, and that's a big red flag to me. I compared him to Sean Elliott, who was a 2-time All-Star for the San Antonio Spurs back in the day. I believe he won a championship with them, with Robinson. But he also, Ace Bailey, he could be Cam Reddish. He's got a lot of Cam Reddish written all over him. The sickest ISO guy. Everybody in his draft class wants to be Cam Reddish. Everybody wants to be Ace Bailey. The 6'7", 6'8". He was listed at 6'10" before, which had everyone freaked the fuck out thinking he's Kevin Durant. But in reality, without shoes on, he's 6'7". So we got a little bit of a truth with who Ace Bailey actually is. He's not the 6'10" crazy shooter with a strap that could be, his floor. When he was 6'10", listed, everyone's like Rashard Lewis floor, anything above that, though. Like, because he's a decent rebounder. But now, I don't know about that. From there, I got Jeremiah Fears. I think I want to bring him down some. He's got a little Devin Harris, Brandon Jennings to him. Maybe a KJ if he really turns into something. But most likely, it's Mealtime Robinson for Jeremiah Fears. Got a little Conka Nipple. How you like this one? He could be Luke Kennard, but he could be Jimmy Butler.
That's a crazy gap.
But that's what I'm saying. These are floor and ceiling type comps, but what their play style is and what you're kind of aiming for trajectory, what you hope, what they could bring, and what maybe is more realistic. I kind of do a mix.
I wouldn't mind having a Luke Kennard career though.
Right, and then Roger Mason, solid role player, can hit the three, tough 6'5", 6'6" guy, can play some D. We got like Derek Queen. I don't know if you know what Derek Queen is from Maryland, but like Al Jefferson or a Day'Ron Sharp. Al Jefferson made an all-star team, was killing the block, averaged 18 for the season. Big Al. But then there's Day'Ron Sharp. He's got a lot of offensive rebounding potential and does some other things. Doesn't always get off the bench, but when he does, he plays hard. He tries. So I mean, that could be a similar thing, especially like Day'Ron Sharp, not the best athlete. Same with Jefferson. They're not like these springy shot blockers who are 6'10". They're more of like these under the rim 6'10" big men, and that's who Derek Queen is. I mean, obviously they could dunk and stuff, but for the most part, all their post moves are below the rim. They're not making these big flashy dunks. They're not lob catching big man for the most part. Like a Cam Maliwatch is going to be, he's an easy lob target. Clint Capella, easy lob target at 6'10". Day'Ron Sharp, he's not necessarily a lob target at 6'10". I've seen him get rim stuffed plenty of times. It's actually pretty bad. Day'Ron Sharp, but he's become a slightly better athlete. But this is kind of what I got. I also really like Will Riley. No one has him this high. But Will Riley at 12 to Chicago, I love him. He's the number one player out of Canada last year as a freshman. And look at the finals this year. Canada has been on the come up, and people are asleep on Canadian basketball still.
Yeah.
Like, look who was winning earlier. I mean, we got, obviously, Steve Nash won 2 MVPs, right? That's kind of the real inception of Canadian basketball, like being on top. Now we got Shea this year, 1 MVP, Canadian-born player. Jamal Murray was the second best player on the Nuggets, winning a championship. You got Canadians that are winning players now.
And finals.
And now look, you got players in the finals on both sides who are Canadian-born, who are incredible and some of the best players in the game. You got Shea, you got Lou Dort, you got Nembhard, and you got who's the other Canadian guy on the Pacers? Let me look at the Pacers roster real quick. Pacers roster. Benedict Mathurin.
Oh, Benedict, yeah.
Like 2 guys on each side. Benedict Mathurin, born in Canada. Nembhard, Canada. Let's see if they got another Canadian. Shepard, no. Furphy's Australia. And then let me see Thunder roster. But I think it's 2 Canadians on each team, and 2 Canadians that are making a difference. Shea, MVP of the league, best player in the whole series, best player in the finals, Canadian. You got Lou Dort, the ultimate stopper, defensive player, probably the best defensive player in the whole series, if we're being real, Canadian. And then, on the other side, you got Mathurin coming off the bench, scoring 27 in 20 minutes, Canadian, big-time scorer off the bench, heat check guy. And then Nembhard, the secondary playmaker at the guard for the Pacers. Locking down Shea because he grew up with Shea. He's the only guy who could stop him because he's his friend. He knows him. He knows every one of Shea's moves, all of Shea's little wiggles and everything else. He's been guarding him since he's 12 or earlier. You never know. But I know for a fact they've known each other forever, and I've looked it up. They've played with each other since like U16, which is listed online, but they could have played with each other earlier. I don't think they list U10 leagues and all that other stuff that kids play together. But these guys have been teammates and everything else for a long time. Now they're playing against each other in the finals. Like I said, he knows his every move. You're not going to trick him. It's 10 plus years of playing against you. So I think he just has that advantage.
Right.
And back to the draft, Will Riley, number 1 player coming out of Canada. People have him, I'd say 25th, 20th, sometimes second round. I'm really high on him, maybe too high on him. But the situation he was in, he had other guys around him. Kasparis Giacchionis, he's going to be drafted in the first round. If anything, everyone has him drafted above this guy. I just like Will Riley better. I think he's the higher potential guy. I think Yakionis is kind of at his ceiling right now. I think he's a really good player. He can't shoot, and when he does shoot, it's very, very slow, really slow release. He's a shooting guard that, like I said, can't really shoot like that. It's like a DeLon Wright. He's just really fucking good in college, you know, like you could do it all type guard. Now DeLon Wright's old, and he doesn't really do as much. But he used to be this guy where he comes off the bench, 6'5" guard. Like, what the fuck? Making plays, defensive plays, real smart. But that's Kasparas Yakionis. Will Riley, I think he has the potential to be a really good shooter and playmaker, kind of a Jordan Hawkins type too. But he's got a little more dribbling to his game, little bit more shot creation than a Jordan Hawkins, which could lead to him being a Reggie Miller, Rip Hamilton type. Or, you know, this more Malik Beasley role, who's just the shooter off screens, and hopefully you're getting some defense out of him, but most of the time it's not. But yeah, you're not really getting too much defense out of Will Riley. What you're seeing is mainly these pin downs and a lot of shot creation from the midi and the three-point, and just like the wings, he could really attack it well from the elbows. Yeah, so that's what I got. A little preview to the mock draft that I'll have dropping soon. Now let's talk about the prelim. The Philip Rowe knockout, that was a crazy fight, and he came back because Lusso was winning in the beginning.
Yeah. And then Rowe had him up against the fence and just started hammering him with the right hand.
Yeah. Oh my God. He just holding. It was like a hockey fight.
Yeah.
Like that. That's really what it looked like.
But it was like Lusso was stuck.
Yeah.
He just couldn't move because Rowe just held his head.
Yeah, I think he got rocked.
And then he just started.
And it literally was like, if he wasn't being held, I feel like he would have been able to like kind of maybe catch himself or maybe fall against the cage. But he got rocked leaning against it and just could never wake back up from it.
That was awful.
Yeah, it looked awful.
The Malcolm Wellmaker knockout was scary.
Yeah, it was.
Latino should have never been in there with him.
Let me see. Malcolm. Let me see.
They did dirty with that. And someone on Twitter was like, just how bad is Sean O'Malley? Because it took O'Malley like 200, 300 strikes to knock him out.
Just how bad. Wasn't I saying that? That's what I said last week.
What? You said what?
Remember when I was looking at Sean O'Malley's thing and I was saying he was built and he only beat Jan. The only real guy he ever beat, and it was a matchup nightmare, and he had all the confidence in the world from being built. He just, like I said, he touched that dude 300 times in a fight, and next he's fighting Peter Yan, who wants to throw a bunch of combos, wants to throw a bunch of bullshit at you, like a bunch of leg kicks, a bunch of elbows, a lot of everything. And it's just coming from all angles, and Peter Yan's just tough. He's going to walk through all your shit. So a guy like O'Malley, who had this distance and everything else and the confidence, all he had to do was just pepper him the whole time, and he point fought Jan and beat him. He pointed him out, picked him apart. And like I said, I think he also had this like aura. I think Jan was even a little scared of O'Malley because you're like, who is this guy? You know, like he's coming in with the colored hair. I think at some point he became like larger than life and scary in this like larger than life figure. But yeah, then he got humbled the fuck up, you know? He beat Cheeto, but then we looked at Cheeto's record, and we're like, Cheeto honestly was fighting cans and shit too. Like, he really, we were hyping up him knock out Freddie, what's his name?
Frankie Edgar.
Edgar.
Dominic.
Like, what are we talking about? We were joking that we could beat up Frankie Edgar, and then we see Cheeto Vera knock out Frankie Edgar, and we go, see, told you he's nasty. We just said we could beat him. That doesn't mean anything. We didn't prove anything in that fight. We were saying anyone could beat Frankie Edgar on the UFC roster. Probably some women. Like, we were calling this already. So we shouldn't have gave Cheeto any credit for doing it. So when he's beating, these people, it's not that impressive, actually. It's not the best of the best. These aren't elite wins. This is the Connecticut Sun versus the Valkyrie, This is not Aces versus Liberty. Back to the W.
A good comparison.
It's just scrub on scrub, and someone has to win. And if you scrub on scrub enough, eventually one scrub is just going to win a couple in a row. And then you're like, this guy's nasty. We love him. And that's how cans are built. And that's what the UFC does. And they don't necessarily rig fights and everything else, but this is something I took from Vince McMahon. He said it. You can't run a business unless you can control it. You can't have all these outcomes that are insane all the time. Some of them, the story on the back end. These guys know matchups and everything else. And that's why you might have a bullshit bracket to the top. Because it's built, and they know who these people are. And eventually, through MMA math, you could figure out who the cans are getting carried, who the gatekeepers are, and everything else, and who the studs really are. And it just is what it is. And my God, who is Wellmaker? Is he going to be one of these guys? Look at the step in. Fake kick with the right. He threw the right kick to set it up. This is really smart. You could just go in here and go, oh, this guy's, oh my God, Wellmaker's power, blah, 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 blah. Look at how he opened up a headshot. Leg kick to the body. Lowers the hands a little bit. Raises the leg. Gets them to lower the hands some more. Because look, the belly's a little red right here. He doesn't want to get kicked in the belly again. Drops the hands. Boom!
But Wellmaker's hands were low all night, too. He wasn't really worried about Moutinho striking with him.
Hell no.
He was confident in selling it. Yeah, that was...
What a knockout. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. How bad is Sugar Sean really? He was really built. And I think this could be more proof that Sugar Sean couldn't put this dude down. But also, I think Moutinho was out of his fucking mind that day. He knew he was going to lose. He was saying it like in the interviews. He's like, they're bringing me in here like anything could happen. Like he was admitting defeat before it even happened. But he's like, I'm just happy the opportunity. I'm fighting Sugar Sean. Like he sounded like a fan, But at the same time, like he went in there and was like, I could do anything. Like this is impossible. This should have never happened. And he made the best out of it. But yeah, that Wellmaker matchup, he got out-muscled, out-manned in there.
Yeah.
Somebody who wants to prove himself. Sugar Sean probably took it easy, probably was, just finessed it all night. And that's what we see with Sugar Sean. He's going to point you out, and if he can't point you out, he's getting taken down and getting abused. So we'll see his next fights, but I think we're having him figured out a little more. The more MMA math we see, the more we know about Sean.
Set him up against a wrestler.
Right. Set him up against a wrestler. My God, Wellmaker body bag this dude. And what does he do? Wellmaker's a welder and a pipe fitter. Oh yeah, he's a construction worker. He's strong, tough as nails. Bars. But yeah, so fuck, he went in there and rocked his ass. Chris Moutinho getting knocked out by plumbers. Moutinho, you need to start it, maybe be a plumber.
Find a new career. He's 0-3. He's 0-3 in the UFC with 3 knockouts.
Yeah. I think they really gave him the benefit of the doubt because of Sugar Sean, but now, like I said, now we know.
Well, no, they gave him that second fight in the UFC after the O'Malley loss, and then he fought like 4 or 5 times out of the UFC, won all those fights, and now they just brought him back now and he gets knocked out again.
Damn, Moutinho.
What about this Bellato fight? Him faking the knockout. You didn't see that?
Wait, what?
You didn't see the Paul Craig and
I
Rodolfo.
honestly, I don't know. You know what's funny? I don't know.
It was the
I
last
did
fight
not
of the
see this.
last fight of the prelims. So Paul Craig was on his back, and then it was the final seconds of the first round, and Bellato was on. It was at least on one knee, and it was a clear kick in the face from Paul Craig. So obviously you can't kick somebody in the face when they're a downed opponent. Had his knee down while Bellato was going back. He looked at the referee like, "What is that?" Then he goes back on his back and he pretends he's knocked out.
I'm watching it all in a 10-second span. It's like it's like Three Stooges or something.
Yeah, but then he pretends like he doesn't know what's going on, and then he tries to get like the referee in a leg lock or something. Like he acts like he's seen a ghost, like he's scared. Like, look at this, a clear illegal strike. Then he pretend, like, how does that happen? Where you're arguing with the referee, then all of a sudden you're knocked out like that. That's got to be a crazy.
Fakest shit I've ever seen in my entire life.
Or he's faking it. See, then all of a sudden,
Fakest shit I've ever seen in my life.
He wakes up.
Cut him from the organization.
Like, look, I mean, it was a clear.
Yeah, it's a flop. This is like James Harden.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is like the ultimate flop, sell job, Patrick Beverly bullshit, LeBron. Like, this is the grossest of grossest flop in UFC.
But he clearly got him. And I thought it was it wasn't a clean strike, but he got him flush. But then he seems totally aware. He seems totally aware, totally conscious, and then all of a sudden he hits. And it's not like his head hit the back of the canvas or something where that would knock him out or something. His back hit it, then his head.
Right. It was a controlled fall.
Yeah, his back hit it, then his head. Not that hard.
Yeah, it was a controlled fall.
Shit I ever seen in my entire
his
life.
back hit first, and then his head didn't slap. It didn't jerk. It didn't do anything. It was a controlled fall.
Yeah, so he got a DQ off of that.
Hold on. Let's see. This one's a longer video.
I don't know why you would fake it either. I don't know if the ref was actually.
It should have been a point.
Yeah, so I don't know if the ref was going to take a point or if he didn't realize that Bellato was on his knee. So I don't really know. But it was the end of the round. It was the final second? It was 1 second left when he got hit in the face.
Last time, what are you most proud of?
Getting victories over guys like Jamal Hill, that break of the arm, getting the victory over Ankalaev, beating Shogun Hua after the rematch, up kick to Bellato's face. These are all
the up kick to Bellato. So you heard him?
Yeah,
that's funny as hell. Good shit. Good for him.
He's actually got some good wins. He's beaten 2 UFC champions.
Bellato. Yeah. Look at yeah, that's a mess. But yeah, other than that, I mean, here let's go quick. What Gumbridge? Oh, Menfield survived. That was a shock.
That was a horrible fight.
That it really was. That's why I said the cards were boring for the most part.
The fight was boring.
The Mansour fight, the headbutt, that was the ref's fault, 100%.
Yeah.
How could the ref see the headbutt? He covers up, not even from a strike. It's so obvious. In the next 3 seconds, the fight's over, and the ref's calling it a TKO. That was the dumbest thing ever. The ref fucked that up.
Yeah.
And then somehow they ended the fight there. I get after that the Bellato thing, that's probably why the ref didn't handle it properly.
Right.
I think he was scared to call a DQ scared to call that because they don't want 2 DQs on the card. Then everyone's like, what the fuck is this? You know? And then that's the biggest talk. So as fast as that went through Bellato's head when he got kicked to look for the call and then fake being concussed to try to get the victory off of a pity win, like, same thing. I think the ref thought that. As soon as that headbutt happened, I think he was like, for a split second, he was like, oh, shit. I don't think we could do a second DQ. It's gonna look bad. And then what else? We got the Garbrandt Ronnie fight.
Yeah, Garbrandt looked good in the first round. He was moving really well in the first round. Then he looked terrible in the second and third. He looked old in the second and third.
He was supposed to win because he was talking shit about Sean O'Malley the entire time.
Oh, he's
going
been
through all these interviews. All he was doing was talking shit about Sugar Sean. So I'm like, oh, I know what he's doing. He's setting up the fight. He wants to win, and then boom, they match up. But now it's, I don't know, them both coming off a loss. Is that cool? Cody versus Sugar Sean off the loss. If Cody was coming off a win, maybe it's like, oh shit, Cody might be able to steal Sugar's spot and do something. Maybe have a second run. Who knows? But I don't know anymore. It's not as interesting with the loss.
well. He wasn't even ranked.
Right, but I mean,
And I don't
if
think he would
Cody
have
gets
been.
the win, he has the name, he has the gravitas. I think they could have potentially finagled a fight that was interesting. But now he loses a guy that we don't even know, and the guy's like 38.
Right.
So, I don't know. Could get dark for Cody. The Edmund Shavazian fight, he ended up winning. It was a solid win. Looked dominant.
I
He's
think
always big.
I think he broke that guy's arm, right? With
Probably
that kick.
did.
I think he broke that guy's arm with the kick because Petrosky didn't throw another. I don't think he threw another strike with that hand for the final however many minutes were left in that round.
Really?
And he was shaking it off when they were lining him up to announce the winner. I think he broke his arm with that or did something with his arm.
Wow. I didn't know. I didn't know he actually broke it.
I don't know
Trying
if
to
he
see
broke
if-
it. I think he, I mean, it looked like he did, or he injured it, definitely.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find the video real quick.
It was a nasty sound.
And then, hey, we called it Rose over Miranda Maverick.
Yeah, and then she it looked like she dropped her in the third round, but I think Maverick's knee just blew out.
So you think what? Like, it just gave out or blew out? Like she's injured?
I think it blew out because she got up and she was limping.
Oh, okay. Damn.
Well, Rose looked good in the second and third. I thought Rose was kind of pressing forward in the first round, but I thought Maverick got off the better strikes in the first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she got figured out.
Yeah.
I just don't think she's experienced enough or something. Like, even though she has more fights than Rose, Rose's been around forever. Miranda hasn't. Miranda just has a lot of fights now. You know, like she fights a lot, but something about it. She's, I don't know, she's just young or doesn't have all the tools to be like the ultimate fighter like Rose has.
Yeah, and Rose only got 22 fights altogether in her career.
They've been spaced out, but they've been all in the UFC and all against legends. You know?
Yeah, and she
Rose
only
doesn't fight bums.
Yeah, it seems like she only fights in big fights.
Yeah, so this is a nice win for her over Miranda Maverick. We'll see about who she's fighting next, and what happens to Miranda Maverick from here. But the big win, Kamaru Usman dominating Joaquin Buckley.
He went back to like pre-champion Usman.
Right.
Because like
He looks
rounds
hungry.
because rounds 3 to 5, Buckley started to get that striking going.
Yeah.
Even though Usman took him down in the third and the fourth too. But when they were on the feet, Usman, he did not want to strike with Buckley. And that was just a good game plan from Usman. Because the fifth round, like in the last like 2 minutes, 15 seconds, I was really stressing because Buckley was really starting to get going. Usman looked really tired. He looked desperate to shoot for those takedowns. Because I think Buckley was 5 for 5 in takedown defense in round 5. So I'm just happy he got the win.
Yeah. Good for Usman.
And now
I thought
maybe
he was going to lose. I called Buckley. I think I was right for most of my picks, but the main event. Usman won it.
No,
That's a
yeah,
good fight.
I would have. I fell asleep. I had to watch like the last 3 or 4 fights in the morning, so I didn't know it was going to happen. But I was going to pick Buckley. I'm glad I fell asleep. I was going to bet on Buckley, so that worked out well for me.
Yeah, you know what's funny? You say that. The other day, I was gonna do a WNBA bet. I had this gut feeling, and it was Joelle Lloyd under. It was like her first quarter scoring or something. It was like 9.5. And I'm like, she's barely scored 9.5 in a game. Like all
Yeah.
year. Like, what the fuck are we even talking about? Like, this is the dumbest line I've ever seen. This is weird.
But Asia
And
was
so-
out.
Asia was out. I know, but at the same time, I'm like, she's been off. She's been cold for like 2 seasons now.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot, even with Asia out.
First quarter, would you bet Michael Jordan 9.5 in the first quarter? Like, this is what I'm saying. I'm not even saying it as in Joelle Lloyd. This ain't no shade to her, bro. That's 40 points in a game. If you're betting quarter to quarter, that's 9.5. If you're betting the over, that's 10 points. If you're betting 10 points a quarter consistently, it's insane because no one averages 40. So. Yeah, I see 9.5. I'm like, this is free fucking money. And I bet you everybody and their mother parlayed that shit. And she had, I don't even know how much. She had at least 11 in the first quarter or more.
It's never gonna happen again.
She went at 18 in the first half. I don't know. It was like she had a lot. And what the actual fucking, I was so happy I didn't bet it.
Yeah, I'm glad I would have probably put a parlay down, but I fell asleep for the last 3 fights. But I had my Twitter notifications off, so I didn't know what on this morning. So I just watched it when I woke up. But now maybe you could do Usman and Bilal because they've been talking shit.
Mm-hmm.
And the rankings kind of make sense. I mean, Usman's 5, so he might move up a little bit. Bilal's number 1. I don't think he'll get another title shot. Well, they're setting up the Makhachev thing anyway, probably. So
Yeah, it's gonna be
I don't know,
an interesting time. What are you saying? Oh, we lost the Wi-Fi. I already see what just happened. You walked from your crib and it's starting to.
oh, now I hear you.
All right, now you're connected. But what were you saying?
Yeah. Oh, I was saying you could set up that Bilal and Usman fight now.
Yeah, the Bilal Usman
Can you hear me?
fight could be interesting. I wonder if they're going to actually do that, though. That's kind of scary when you think about
Because-
it. What the hell?
I would definitely take Usman in that.
Yeah, I would take Usman in that as well.
Because I think they're probably trying to set up that Makhachev and JDM fight.
Yeah, that's going to be slim pickings for Islam. But what
Yeah,
what happens if JDM puts Islam down? It would be insane. It would be absolutely insane. And then like Ilya Taporia is just gonna get mad and start talking shit. I'm coming to 170.
Yeah.
That would be the Ilya move. But
You know, Oliveira's like plus 3 something for that title fight. I'm gonna bet my
right,
mortgage
you
on
gotta take
Oliveira.
advantage of those numbers.
That's I don't know. Plus 300 for Oliveira is crazy to me.
Right, former champ. I like the size advantage too. Because Ilya's smaller.
Taporia hasn't even fought at lightweight. And Oliveira is already the underdog. That's crazy.
Not buying it yet. I gotta see it first. But all right, guys. I think we're out of here. This is it. Thank you, chat, for tuning in. Rich, any last wise words? What?
Katie to the Spurs.
Katie to the Spurs. That's what you're calling.
I'm calling it, yeah.
Katie to the Spurs. I like it. He went to Texas for college. So let's see. Maybe he goes to Texas in free agency, or maybe even gets traded, or let's see what happens. if he'll get waived, or sign and trade, whatever they have to do to figure this out to move him. I think the Suns are going to move him. But yeah, let's see about the Spurs. That's really interesting. Oh, and one last thing. I looked up I looked up Quinlan in Gaelic to see the translation.
Yeah.
And it means wise or chief.
Nice.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never but the translation, it's Quinn, Cuinn. That's the way they translate it. But I guess, in Ellis Island, when everyone moved over, all the Irish, they started putting Q's and everything instead of the C's that are used in Gaelic. In English, the C's are translated to Q's. Yep. There's your history lesson for the day. But all right, y'all, we out of here. Thanks, guys. Peace.